Back with another deck profile. I know it's been a minute since I've posted, but we're back. Mitsurugi Orcust, still. Best deck. And there's going to be combos this time, finally. And I'm just going to get into the list that I played last Saturday. I got 4th place. I went 2-2, one of them being a double loss. I want to talk about some things that I want to change for the regional next week, and then like some things I want to change with the list, combos, things of that nature. So 42 cards this time. So three Girsu, 3 Harp, 1 Cymbal, 1 Crown, Babel, Crescendo, Foolish Burial. Okay, I know I've harped, no pun intended, on Crown being bad for like basically the entirety of when I played this deck. And I do think it doesn't make any sense to play when you're playing Nightmare and Wand. But I cut those cards because you don't need them. Just cutting down on the bricks. And then I do think you need Crown if you're just playing the Cymbal as like the only other monster besides the main starters. Because Cymbal becomes kind of a starter. I can show you in the combos. But then also playing Crown lets you play into boards a little better sometimes. I'm going to talk to you about one of my games that I could have won. If I remembered I played this card and I sequenced things a little differently, but then also this lets you still do things sort of like if you just open Cymbal, if you choose to just go for the Ding Girsu instead of the Zombie Vampire when you're milling. Because now that you're not playing the Nightmare, there's only 6 names that you can hit potentially to get into your combo. So depending on how many hand traps you have, you might decide to just go for the safe route and go for the Ding, which you need the Crown to be able to special to do things like that. And also shout out to Matthew for the Ultra Foolish Burial from the new structure deck. So I at least have an Ultra now. For the Mitsurugi, we're still playing the really light package. This with the pre-perp and the mirror. I decided last week to try the bigger package again, and it just felt like kind of clunky, right? And then I was really conflicted about it. And then I went and watched through one of my old profiles, and what I remember saying specifically that really stood out to me was, you don't need Futsu to win games. Murakumo is the guy that puts all the pressure. So that's what you really need. So like if you open both combos, you always want to start with your Mitsurugi engine, unless like you would lose really badly to Droll, or like there's some instances where you'd want to get your first search of your the first search of like your Galate Eye first, but a lot of times you want to start with this engine, because worst case, you still get your Murakumo out, and that's like at least something, right? But like just depending on your hand, right? But like a lot of times if you open both, you want to try to start with this just to bait out the hand traps, because this is almost like non-engine, right? So, and I'm cutting down on all the bricks, right? So you have all these as starters, and then just these 4 awkward draws instead of Kusanagi, Aramasa, second Ritual, Futsu, all that. So it's just sort of the bare minimum. This still lets you keep the 2 rituals so that you can bridge with the prayers. But yeah, Murakumo is good a card as ever. Habakiri card of the format, you know what I'm saying? And then I just loaded up on hand traps. So this is another reason why I want to play 42. I can talk about that in a little minute. I'm going back to maining the Droll because of Yummy Mitsurugi, or Mitsurugi Yummy. That deck is so frustrating to play against. They have so much gas. So main decking the Droll again, people are on Mitsurugi. Also, you can Droll yourself when they fool you to still get through your Orcust combo, which I thought was really nice. I'm also main decking 3 Nib. I like this card, but it feels really bad if you don't open it with like another hand trap, right? So then I'm also playing 3 Imperm and then obviously 3 Impulse. That's like the reason you play this deck. To try to maximize seeing Nib and another hand trap. You have to be careful because Impulse conflicts with all your monster hand traps except Ash. But you just have to sequence it in a specific order. And then I'm siding the droplets because I found that I was always siding it out when I was going first. And you only really want it for going second anyway. So if I just side it in for going second, it feels really nice. And since you're not playing the Nightmare or the Wand, there's a lot less cards that you want to like send off of it. So I figured that made the most sense. So I played 42 so I could play like the 3 Nib and the Crown and everything. I think 42 is fine. It lets you see your 1-ofs a bit less too. And then, yeah, so Cymbal is like kind of a starter now. So if you want to talk about starter count, right, so you have these 8 for Orcust. Then you have, no, 9 for Mitsurugi. So that's 17 starters and 42. That's like really good math. I was doing the math, and so like you'll see an average of 2 starters per hand. So that's really nice. Like if you open like Girsu plus Harp, or like Girsu plus Cymbal, or like whatever, it's like you have, or like Girsu plus Habakiri feels like you just win the game on the spot. So that's really nice, and you're playing way less awkward draws because you're just playing like these and then these versus like all these other cards. You could argue Cymbal is a card you don't really want to see, but I will show you the combo. You can still get to like Crescendo with a linked Galatea, so it can't be destroyed by battle, so it's not like, you know, SP where they can just run over it, or like IP and it like negates the disruption, and then you still have Crescendo for the follow-up. So that's for the main deck, 42 cards. I know it's really lame that I'm playing the Crown after always saying that's so bad, but, you know, I think it makes sense with what I'm doing. And I'm not going to not play it just because I said it was bad before, right? Like, I've come to my senses. I don't think you should play Nightmare Wand and Crown, but I think if you're not playing Nightmare or Wand, playing Crown makes sense. The Orcust lineup, you have to play this, I think. I think you have to play 2 Galatea for the grind game. You have to play Long Girsu for the Harp 1-card combo. And playing into boards, it's nice. And then El Girsu is your boss. Galatea, you don't really need more than one of it. IP, SP, and the Gorgon. This is for Draco Tail because shout out to Leonardo Sacchetti. I saw it in his list. So basically, you end on like IP, wherever, and then they go Arthalion, and you chain IP, and they're like, oh, okay, what? Are they going to banish my thing? You make this, they lose all their cards they try to add back. Barricade, Dark, Boral Sword. Barricade is for like a guaranteed bridge for Mitsurugi. I guess you don't really need to use your normal summon anyway, so like, now that I'm thinking about it, like saying this out loud, I think maybe I just cut this, because if I have Harp, I would just summon it anyway. Because I was thinking before, like, oh, you can discard Nightmare off this, or like, oh, if you have to normal summon Aramasa, but I'm not playing any of those cards. So I think realistically, I just cut this, because I was actually thinking about, I want to play a second Ding somewhere, because like, it's not like necessarily, like you don't necessarily need it, but like sometimes it could come up just for like security. But I think I just cut this. So I'll talk about what I want to cut a bit after. But then Dark is broken. I stole a guy's IP the other day, and that was really awesome. Boral Sword, because you can attack over both the Ligers, Dingirsu, Zombie Vampire, to bridge, Photon Lord for if you start with Mitsurugi, you can use this to insulate from Nib, and then Typhon. Most of the time you make it when you're losing anyway, but sometimes it comes up and I don't really know. Like, I don't know. I feel kind of weird about cutting it, but that was the extra deck. For the side deck, I didn't, this is a common theme, I didn't really know what to play, so I just threw Lancia back in. I'm definitely going to change this, because this really only covers, like, Malice and, like, maybe Lunalight, or, like, Orcust, I guess, but no one's playing Orcust. I haven't seen Lunalight or Malice in a while, at least in my locals, so I think I want to swap to things that cover matchups a little better. 2 Thrust. I was playing 3 before, but I want to play, like, I have, like, 1,000 Thrust targets in here. So I'm playing Dark Ruler, Duster, Talons, Prosperity, Called by, Cymbal, Great Purification, and then 3 Droplets. So this is post October ban list, where they banned, like, D-Barrier, Protoss, that kind of thing. So Cymbal Archfiends was, like, kind of the next best thing there. So yeah, the Droplets are for going second. I'm thinking about maybe, like, having 2 Droplets and playing a 3rd Thrust. I need to see how the side patterns kind of work with that, but I'm thinking potentially that, because Thrust is just like a way more versatile card. But yeah, so Thrust pretty much always goes in, and then targets for going second would be these, and then for going first, it would be like this, and then also these for going first. So yeah, the side math, it worked out decently well. Cymbal Archfiends, I think there's some changes to the side deck I want to make that I think cover a bit more matchups, because like Cymbal Archfiends doesn't do anything against Yummy or Draco Tail, really. I mean, a little bit, but like they can still do a lot with just an Arthalion, adding back, setting all their like, you know, traps or follow-up or whatever they need to do. So we can talk about matchups a little bit. So round 2, I opened double droplet and a harp, and I was like, oh, I can play the game, sick. And then he bestialed my harp, and I was like, sick, I lose. It happens, especially with all the new branded stuff. They just main deck bestials, and so that was really like, oh, okay. Yeah, so I missed wand once because I I could have sent it off the Girsu so that when I banished my harp, he like ashed it or something, and then I didn't have a play because I had to send Cymbal or something like that. And it was like if I wand, I could have, because I knew he was gonna banish, or like I knew like he was gonna negate it, and so if I could have sent my wand, I could have revived it, kept going. But you know, I don't think it's worth it because that card's just so bad most of the time. And then I won 2-0 against Mitsurugi Yummy. That deck is terrifying, but I opened like the 5-card combo and I just like killed him into the sun. It was ridiculous. I opened Cymbal, where was it? Cymbal, Prayers, and this was post side. So I opened Cymbal, Prayers, Impulse, Dark Ruler, Duster. I mean, like, what is this? Like, this is ridiculous. So I impulsed his ritual, so I didn't have to deal with the Murakumo. Then I just had both breakers for all his things. Then I had prayers for the Mitsurugi and Cymbal for like a bit of an Orcust push. And like, it was ridiculous. But yeah, no, breakers are good against Yummy, I promise. Like, Dark Ruler is a ridiculous card. And compared with the Duster, it's just like, all right, the game's over at that point. But still pretty ridiculous. So I wanted to talk about something in my last round. Because, so I opened Girsu, Harp, Thrust, and then like 2 other cards. I don't really remember what they are, but it doesn't matter. He was playing K9 Cyber Dragon. And this was my double loss. Because I had to read a bunch of his cards, and anyway. So he had Regulus plus Infinity. And so I had to play through 2 Omni Negates. And with this, I could have, but I didn't because I messed up. So I normal summoned the Girsu, and then he went Infinity. And then I went Thrust, and he went Regulus. And then this was stuck in my hand, so I lost. But what I should have done, because I forgot I played Crown, and like I was thinking about this today, and I was like, oh my god, I totally could have played through his 2 Omni Negates, which is like ridiculous. So I should have normal summoned the Harp. Then I make Galtai. And there's a few different options, right? I would go Galtai effect first. Like, there's a few different like scenarios that could happen, right? Let's just say I have an impulse, so I have a card to pitch. So I go Galtai. If he negates the Galtai, I have 2 more pushes. I have the Thrust and the Harp, so he can't stop both of them. And like I can thrust for like anything. I can thrust for like pre-prep and do my full Mitsurugi combo or something like that and completely break his board. But if he doesn't negate the Galtai, I get, where is it? I got the Crown, and then I special the Crown, and that trades for, like, whatever negate, right? I guess technically if he knew I was going to do that, he could have gone, like, no, but even, it doesn't matter, because even if he, like, Regulused this, and, like, I still have enough pushes, I think, right? Because, okay, so then this trades with his Infinity. And then, yeah, or if he Infinitied this, I still have 2 pushes, right? There's just too many cards he needs to interact with for me to do all these things. So then this trades for something, and then I still have the Harp, summon whatever, I still have the Thrust, whatever. So it's like, it doesn't matter what he negates, I had enough pushes, I just played it, I played it incorrectly, and I just wanted to bring that up because that was really, it's kind of frustrating because I could have played through his thing. I just thought of it a bit too late. We can talk really quick about some things that I wanted to change. So in the side deck, I just want to cover matchups a bit better, so we can Yeah, so Cymbal is like really bad into a lot of decks. Lancia didn't do anything, so I don't think I want to play that again. And then I'm thinking about swapping a drop for a thrust, but I need to like examine the side patterns a bit better. Well, what I know I want to do is I want to take out the Barricade Borg for the second ding. Because Barricade doesn't serve any purpose with the Orcusts that I'm playing now. So, and I get to play the second ding, which can help in the grind game or just for comfort's sake, I would say. So I want to start by replacing the Lancers with Retaliating Sea, because Branded Dracotail is a terrifying deck. And I don't really know how to play against it, because it's really new, I would say, and I haven't really gotten too much tasking against it. That was one of my losses. When he just had the Bestial, and it was like, all right. That deck's terrifying. It has so much gas, it's so hard to stop. Yeah, so I would do Retaliating Sea, and then instead of this, I would play Blackout Laugh. Shout out to Matthew again. Because with this, like, you just cover your matchups a lot better, because against Yami or Mitsurugi, you call, you know, like, Murakumo, or you call Snatchy, or you call, like, Arthalion for Dracotail. This deals with Dracotail. Or, like, Lunalight, maybe. This deals with Lunalight, but it's like, I just think this covers things a little better, and I want to, yeah, maybe swap the Droplet for the Duster, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about changing when it comes to that. I don't think I would change the main deck at all. It feels pretty great. I'm happy with all the things that I played. And now for the long requested combos. So for this, all you have is like Cymbal and then just like whatever card. So this is basically if you just have Cymbal, which if you're not playing Crown, it doesn't do anything, but if you play Crown, it does something. So you normal summon the Cymbal. You go ahead and you make the link 1. And then you link 1, discard whatever card. You search for the Crown. Then you special the Crown. And then you link these into the Galatea. Then you go Cymbal effect. I don't think it actually really matters which one, if you use the Galatea Eye or the Cymbal, because they technically do the same thing. But I always like to use the Cymbal first, because the Galatea Eye you always have in your grave for later. That's just kind of what you want to do when you're comboing with Orcust. But you want to make sure that it's pointing, like the Galatea is pointing to the Galatea Eye. And then you go Galatea, target the Cymbal, shuffle it into the deck, and you set the Crescendo. And then that's basically the combo. So obviously it's not a lot, but it's something. And you don't have anything if you just open Cymbal normal. I mean, you have 18 starters. Like, this is almost never going to happen. But if it does, you have Crescendo, a Galatea, and a Galatea Eye. But these are linked. The Galatea is linked to the Galatea Eye. And it has a secret effect where, you know, secret effect, where this linked card cannot be destroyed by battle. So if they try to run over this, you're like, no. And then you always have the Omni Negate, which then on the follow-up, you banish it, you search for Girsu, and you do your full combo from there. So that's like the really basic combo that doesn't really do anything. But I just wanted to show you the Cymbal combo, and we could get to the main combo. So the main combo would obviously be Girsu. He is the better starter, assuming you're uninterrupted. Harp plays... So Girsu and Harp, they play through things... Like, they play through some things better than the other one does. So, like, that's what I was talking about with my Infinity versus Infinity and Regulus, was Harp just played through those disruptions better than Girsu did. But Girsu puts more pressure on the opponent to... like charm you when you're going first, because they have to charm your Imperm before you make the tokens. It gives you more bodies. So I mean, maybe it's just that, like, because Harp is a lot better into removal because you want it in the grave anyway. It just depends on like the deck that you're playing into. But I would say when you're going first, Girsu is almost always better. It just depends, like certain things. But we're gonna talk about the Girsu combo first because it is just a little better. Because you have one more body from the token, and it lets you end on an IP plus Ellen Girsu, which the Harp only lets you end on Ellen Girsu. So it's just a 1.5 card combo with Girsu. So you normal summon Girsu effect, you send the Harp from deck to graveyard, then you go Girsu effect, to give each player a token. I still need to get myself some World Legacy tokens, but these will do. Then you're going to link off the token specifically because it's a non-effect monster. It helps you combo a little better because Galatea requires effect monsters. And you link into the Galatea Eye. Then you go Galatea Eye effect. Actually, you probably want to put it here. Yeah, so a lot of times, depending on the EMZ, this is just something I noticed that I should bring up. You probably want to put the Girsu here because then the Galatea is never pointing to it. Because you always want to threaten that you could special crown, like especially going second. You never want to block your crown. So I'd put it over here. Then you go effect, pitch a card, search for, going first, the Babel, going second, probably the crown. I know some people, they will like side this card out going second. I don't know how I feel about that. You could try that. But it sets up your grind game because it lets you play on your opponent's turn with like the Harp summoning things and whatever. They're going to just activate the Babel. And then you can go these two. So you still haven't even used Harp yet. You go into the Galatea. Now you have to use Harp. I would try to save Galatea Eye for like the last possible second. This is on the opponent's field. Just so even if you get like nibbed or something, you always have another body. But now you have to go Harp because you need something to do this. And you can even you can even chain the Galatea to this. It just depends on how you want to play it. Sometimes you might want to like attach the Harp with the Ding Girsu later. There's some options you can do, but we can just say we can chain the Galatea, shuffling this into the deck, set crescendo, and then the Harp resolves, special summoning the Cymbal from the deck. Now you want to go Galatea Eye effect, banish the Girsu, summon herself. And now you link all these into the link 4 Ellen Girsu. Now you want to go Cymbal effect, targeting the Galatea to summon it. And then you go put the Ding on top. And then you attach the Cymbal. If you still have the Harp banished, you could attach the Harp. But you need the Cymbal to summon itself on the next turn, basically. To summon the Girsu back on your opponent's turn. Now you got Ellen Girsu effect, targeting the Girsu. Add it to hand. Shuffle any card you want into the deck. But I like keeping this if I can because it's a follow-up. But you can do whatever you want. To then steal your opponent's token. Then you link off the token and the Girsu to summon IP. And a lot of times my opponents would be like, dude, the token's not an effect monster. I'm like, can you read? IP Masquerade says 2 non-link monsters, so you can absolutely do this. It can use non-effect monsters as long as they're not links, and they cannot use links. So this is your end board. The Girsu should be in the grave here. I was like, where did my entire grave go? So this is quite a few disruptions plus follow-up. So you have, and this is without the Mitsurugi, obviously, because you cannot bridge anymore, which required you to extend really hard into nib anyway. So like I never really got to that anyway, as I talked about in my last regional video. I only got to King of the Fair Olymps once the entire regional because your opponents never let you get there. So yeah, this is quite a lot here because I can go Cymbal, summon back the Ding. I can either attach or send a card. So if I need protection, if I'm playing against like Mitsurugi, I would probably attach. But if I need to like remove a field spell or a continuous something, or just get something off the field if they're about to like make a link play, I would send a card. So potentially that's 1. Then I can go IP, link with pretty much anything into either like an SP or a Gorgon. So sometimes you will link with your Ellen Girsu, potentially even if you haven't used the Steel yet, because Ellen Girsu has another disruption in the graveyard that a lot of people don't know. Make the Gorgon to negate their Arthalion, but we can just assume that we're playing against, like, you know, whatever. So we can link this off. It's SP, so that's 2, 3 disruptions. Ellen Girsu, target this, shuffle it in, steal something. That's 4. If they out your, this is banished because it's used a disruption. If they out your Ellen Girsu, you can banish it to non-target, send a card in the field to the graveyard. No one knows that effect exists. And there's a ruling I don't think I've ever talked about before, but it says during your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was sent there from the extra monsters on this turn, you can banish this card, semicolon, send them a card in the field to the graveyard. The during your main phase is not a condition. It's just to show, that's what the TCG does, to show that it's an ignition effect. But since its Babel is up, all of them are quick effects. They're not ignitions. So you can use this during any phase as long as it's the same turn that it was sent from the EMZ to the graveyard. So that's like what, 6, and then the crescendo is a 7th. Obviously you need it while there's an Orcust link on the field, but you can always banish this, summon back the Galatea Eye to have that. And then you still have the follow-up. You just normal summon Girsu, send the Harp, and you can do everything all over again. And that's without Mitsurugi, so that's enough to beat most decks anyway. You don't even necessarily need your Mitsurugi things as well, but they just add to the sort of layered end board that this deck can produce. For the Harp 1-card combo, like I said, it's not quite as strong of an end board. It can play these certain things better, but this is nevertheless a 1-card combo, or 1.5 card combo with any discard. So you normal summon the Harp, you go into Galatea Eye, your Galatea Eye effect, pitch the card, search the Babel, go ahead and activate it, then use Harp effect, summon Girsu, Girsu effect to bin the Cymbal. Next you gonna link these two off into the Galatea. Galatea effect, target the Harp, shuffle into the deck, set the crescendo. Then you use the Galatea Eye effect very specifically, banish the Girsu, summon the Galatea Eye back. Then you link these two into the one Girsu. Fortunately, you have to plan for this combo. Then you do Cymbal, target the Galatea link 2, because it can be used as execution material and Galatea Eye cannot. To then summon the Girsu here, attaching the Cymbal. And then link all these off into the Girsu. And that's basically your mainline combo for this. So the disruptions you have here, you have the crescendo, you have the Angling Girsu, shuffles, that's 2. You have the Cymbal to summon this, which can be a 3rd disruption or protection. Then if they out this, that's another disruption. So it's not quite as strong, but it does still give you your Girsu, your Girsu, and your crescendo. These are like 3 main parts of your board. And that is, those are like the 2 main Orcust 1-card combos. And for the Mitsurugi 1-card combo, any of these 9 starters will work. If you start with prayers, sometimes you can't extend quite as far. If you want to like tribute the 2nd ritual monster, because you can't search like another prayers to do it. You can't activate this 2nd prayers to then tribute something, summon it back, right? But you can if you haven't used it yet, right? Because you can go like prayers after you have the 2 rituals to tribute it and then summon like a Sanji back to have an even other body. Pre-prep can help you play through things a bit more if you like open 2 ritual monsters or something like that, and then Habakiri is basically what you get to with these. So we can just assume 1 Habakiri for this combo. So you activate Habakiri, summon the Sanji, tribute it, use its effect to get the ritual. Now here is where you can play around specifically either Perulia or Fuelos. So if you're under Perulia, you go ritual, summon from deck, summon by tributing the Habakiri. Resolution, chainlink 1 Habakiri, or chainlink 2 to blow up if there's anything on the board. Summon this, or sorry, you don't summon it. But you add the mirror, then you go mirror, ritual summon by tributing this, then chainlink 1, summon out, and search for the prayers, and then you have your overlay. Or, if you're doing it the other way, and you have these, and you want to play around Fuelos or around Ash, if they don't Ash this and they wait until to Ash the summon from deck, they'll just never get the chance, because you go ritual summon from hand by tributing this, resolution effect, search the mirror, tribute, summon this, resolution effect, add the prayers. And then from here, so you have prayers in your hand, you overlay, and there's 2 different ways you can go about this. So depending on how many hand traps you have, or like how you feel about it, if you really need like to just hit and get that full combo, then you'd go for Zombie Vampire. Or if you already have like quite a few hand traps and you can like afford to not hit an Orcust, then you can go into the Girsu. But I don't want to see Zombie Vampire as like a Hail Mary, but you won't always hit with it. Like, I want to say it's around like a 56% chance. I could be completely lying, but I want to say that sounds about right for what it is with like just six names in 42. I can actually look it up real quick. It's a 58% chance to hit off Zombie Vampire. So, assuming you hit an Orcust, you can just do your full combo from here, basically. But if you do Girsu, here's the line you would take. So you would link it off for the Galatea Eye because it requires any Orcust or War Legacy monster. Then you go effect, pitch whatever card, and you search for the crown. So this is your hand, and you have like 4 other cards. Or 3 other cards, I should say. You special the crown, then you link these into the Galatea. Then you go effective Galatea Eye, banish the Girsu, summon itself back, and you want to link it. Then you go effect target the Girsu, shuffle it into the deck, set the crescendo, and then this is your end board basically. So you set the prayers, you have this, it can't be destroyed by battle, then you have the prayers, survive the Murakumo, and then blow up the board. So it's not a lot, but if you already have like enough hand traps, I don't know. It just depends on how you feel about it. Depending on your situation, you can choose to either mill or not. Especially game 1, I would probably try to mill, see what your opponent's on. But just depending on how you feel about it, you can either choose to mill or not. But that is essentially the 1-card Mitsurugi combo. And I think that just about wraps up the combo video. Please let me know if there's anything I missed about the deck, or just like things you want to mention about the deck that maybe I didn't cover that you want to just tell me about, because I'm always looking to talk to people about this deck or this game. And yeah, so have a good day.